Oh, it's a little high. Little hey, little ho, little hi, little hello. I think I need music. Definitely need music. Oh. Why am I reaching so far? Hello, welcome to the show. I'm just getting ready, turning on some music. Hi. I am, yeah, like I said, I'm turning on some music. Oh, la, 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 la. Oh, there it is. What's gonna play? Let's see. We're gonna shuffle and see what music comes on. Oh my God, you'll be in my heart. Tarzan. Is that too loud? I don't want it to be too loud. How are you guys doing? Hey, I'm Carrie Ann, Quirky Cosmo, as you guys know, or if you don't know, if you're not following, you're just like, you see this live and you're like, what's going on? I like to talk about ascension and consciousness, and it is very loud. I love it. I love to talk about this world that we exist within. From, of course, my quirky perspective, which we all have. You love Phil Collins. I love him too. I'm a child at heart, right? You're a child at heart. All the time. So I like to talk about cosmology and the mind of God and how we are existing within this realm, which helps people to understand the mechanics or the cosmology or the mechanics of ascension. Aside from all of the healing shit that we got to do, right? All of the deep inner internal work, right? Yeah, the deep diving, that shadow work, inner child healing, right? Rewriting our scripts. Yeah, healing that karma. It's still super loud to me. And that's wild because I have earphones in. These are just little speakers. You know what's really cool? Is on my screen, well, one of my screens. One of the screens is a periodic table of elements. Because I was making, oh my God, you guys have got to see. So this, I draw, but it's not perfect. And I have like an 8-year-old artistry within me. But anyways, yeah, I was drawing. I've been drawing all week. Which is common. Okay, come on, you're stuck. There we go. You like this? Oh, can you guys even see? I might need to move it closer. All right, there you go. I don't know how to flip the screen around, so you're gonna see all of the words backwards, but don't worry. And I will post the images in my story, and you guys can screenshot it and have them, okay? All right, so I've been drawing all weekend, or all week. I guess yesterday I started drawing some more. I had to get one of these big white pads to draw on because on my whiteboard, I don't like to erase it. I went and got paper, which has been fun. You like to draw too? Yeah, it helps me, it's like note taking, right, of the brain, of all of the things, and it just helps me to assimilate, right? Welcome. Good to see you. Thank you. Yeah, I was a resistance to teaching, because I'm like, who am I to teach? But inevitably, I take complex things and make them very simple because I have digested a lot of esoteric wisdom in this life and in many lives before. And I was able to teach my children that I homeschooled for 4 years. Now they're back in school because they wanted to go. But anyway, they like the social aspect of it and they go to an art school. So that's great. I got them into an art school, which I moved cities just because they got accepted into this art school. So We're grateful for that. Yeah, I'm glad that you enjoy the wisdom. It is out there for everybody. Now, this is something that is deeply embedded in our DNA, and we all have access to this information. It just takes perseverance and healing a lot, looking at yourself, taking a lot of accountability for your life and for the people that are in it, their actions, your response to their actions, like your response to them, and just taking full accountability, truly. Facing your fears, because that's what we're doing. And this is God awakening. We are awakening, and thank you. And God is awakening through us. And that's like, what do you mean God's awakening? Yes, he's been in a slumber, been in a deep sleep. And that's what this is, what we live in, the waking state in our, right now, you looking at your screen, me sitting in my living room, looking at my screen, looking at you, right? This is the dream. This is the dream. So whenever you go that night and you go back to bed, that's actually your astral state, and that's your natural state. And this is where we act everything out. So we are energy. Yes. Oh my gosh. Detox. I'll answer some questions first. So I'll stop trying to get to them. I'll just be present. I'll answer some questions. Yes, I detox. Absolutely. I do different types of detoxes. Just depends on what I'm intuitively being guided to do, for sure. I always fast. Water fasting is like the first thing that I do. Yeah. And then I do juicing. Depends on the juice, but I do some juicing. Not too many days and not too often do I do that, but I will juice if I feel the call to. Yeah. I'm a savage in the astral. You think? Well, that's our natural state. And if you don't remember when you're sleeping, that's okay. That's okay. You're not supposed to, because you need the deep rest. You need the rest because you do so much in the waking dream. Yeah. Thank you. Hello, Nathaniel? Nathalie? I got kids in the house. You're good. Just make sure it's shut all the way. Did it click? Good job. Awesome. You're good. I put the board up so nobody can see anything. Got the kid. I've got kids. So I got a 15-year-old and a 12-year-old, and then, neighborhood kids coming in and out. So, but yeah, I teach like this because I taught my children. And if I can teach at that time, like I said, she's 15 now, my oldest, and 12, my youngest. I only had 2. Just watched your video. Yeah, the third eye. I had so many people asking me, like, what if they're blind? I'm like, bro, it's the third eye. It's the third eye. Like, it's the third eye. I was using the eye as context to what it is that how we see, how we visualize, right? Or the planes. But in truth, we're in a cosmic being. And I say, well, this page is new, and on my other page, prior to getting capped, on that page, I have so many videos talking about being in a cosmic being we call God. But in the Hindu, it was Brahma, right? The many faces of Brahma, the cosmic being. And we're in the many episodes, many chapters of God's imagination, and going through the many layers, the chakras of God. And, our esoteric teachings, or the hidden teachings, is esoteric, is hidden. Or occult. Occult could be hidden as well. Not cult, with just C-U-L-T, not like cults are coming, but like occult. I'm sure you get that. The I am video, put everything. That's fantastic. Now it's the third eye, okay? It's the third eye. But I was giving context to this. Again, it's the image of and the imagination of. So if I can teach this information to my children, which at the time, it was 14, and I homeschooled them for from 2020 until this year, until 2024 when they went back into school this year. So for 4 years, and I unschooled my children and I reschooled them, and I actually had them, part of their curriculum was watching Missing Links on Gaia by Greg Braden. And if you haven't checked out that series, it's really good. And I'm not a big fan of Gaia TV, and I'm not into the alien agenda because that's a new age word for demons. And I have explained that in many videos, and I know that my page currently doesn't have a lot of my older work, but it is on Instagram. If you give a shit to go to that app. If not, hang in. I have to make new content because they are flagging everything that I try to upload. They're like, it is old content, has a QR code. I'm like, fuck. So honestly, it's just a fresh start. So it'll give me the opportunity to teach it new and in a new setting with new faces, and to influence and help assist my brothers and sisters on their journey. Yeah, we do create universes, and we do. That's the power of our imagination. Now, getting into that, that is based on our genetics, though. So we can think happy thoughts all we want, and we can desire to have a beautiful life, and that's fantastic, to hold the intention and live as if it has already been done. I love that. Neville Goddard, he speaks on that intently. And this is true to an extent. We do need to go into our trauma, which is an onset, our trauma, personal trauma that we endured in this life. And that was also endured by our ancestors. And then again, we play it out because it's from onset. It happens in gestation. And then it plays out in our first 7 years of being born. So all the information that I share is found in a plethora of different books by mystics and authors and theologists and sages of the ages. So I have on my Linktree, it's Linktree/Corky Cosmo. Anyways, on there I have all of the books that I would suggest that you get if you would like to do this on your own. I highly suggest The Gene Keys by Richard Rudd. Now, not everything in that is wholly only, because it's not. It's a beautiful start. It is basically all of Alice Bailey's works, which is The Rites of Initiation and A Treaty on Cosmic Fire. It is based on the Corpus Christi and the I Ching. But there's the 64 codes of consciousness are there's nothing else out there you're going to find. Nothing else out there that compares to Richard Rudd's Gene Keys. Promise. I promise. I've read. The Yoga Sutras by Patanjali, and The Light of the Soul, The Light of the Soul by Alice Bailey is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, but she broke it down in a modern being like early 1900s, but literation instead of being so sagey and Hindu, mystic, if you will. But she broke it down in the esoteric rites, and that's a beautiful book to have, especially if you are a yoga instructor and you'd like to incorporate some more Raja yoga, mental yoga in with your movements so that people can integrate the higher the higher rites of passage in your practice. That's beautiful. My yoga instructor, when I moved to Florida 8 years ago, I was blessed. I call her my fairy angel because she is fucking amazing. But she's also a teacher of, what is it? I don't know. A teacher of Raja Yoga, basically. Mental yoga. I never went to yoga instructor school. But there's what's it called? There's a foundations to it before you learn the asanas and all that stuff that you have to go through, and she teaches that, so it makes sense. She's amazing, though. I'm like, oh my God, you just know everything that's going on with. That was years ago. I don't go there anymore, but because I moved, like I said, out of that city, and it's quite a distance to get there now. But hey, welcome. Thanks for joining. So I have been drawing out a lot, just to help make sense of what it is that we are experiencing. I don't know where you're at on your journey, but this is just to help, okay? And really being upfront, I guess. Oh, you gotta go. Yeah, like, oh, thank you. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm an esoteric Christian minister. So not with your biblical religious ideologies and how the profane have expressed the Christian teachings, of the Christ teachings, the body of Christ, which is what we are here to attain, is the body of Christ, and what we are existing in is the body of Christ, is the form. So everything comes from formless, okay? Everything comes from the formless, which is the feminine. The mind is made up of two sides, two halves, okay? Two halves. We have a logical and we have a creative side. And what we're experiencing, what we're here to do, is to yoke both sides of the mind, and that's the hemi-syncing. And when we hemi-sync the creative and the logical, we become sync thinkers. And this turns on our body of light. Okay, but to get there, to do that, to hemi-sync the brain, there's multiple ways, there's not just one, but it is, you do need to heal your karmic imprinting from your ancestors. And the piece of the pie that you're here playing out on the grand stage, right? Because in the dream, we're imprinted with a role or karma, if you will, action. And that's based on the planetary alignments the day that you're born and 88 days prior to being born. If you're a human design person, you might understand that. But if you're not human design, I'll express it to you. Within the birth process, you have trimesters. You have 3 of them. And the third one, and this deals with Mercury cycles. Now, Mercury is the messenger and it's the synthesizer, okay, of the spirit, the messenger of the gods, the spirit bodies of the planets, and the physical, your nervous system. And so it goes around. It is the quickest moving planet, okay, and it synthesizes. And every 88 days, it goes around the sun, okay, every 88 days. And so we have our trimesters, which are about 88 days each, and that deals with Mercury. And on the third trimester, whenever you're beginning your third trimester, you are sealed with your design, okay, which is your innateness. So the design side, the red side, the design side is the why. Why? This is the formless, okay? This deals with your spirit bodies, 88 days prior. The imprint, 88 days prior. It is your spirit bodies and the why everything happens. And then the day that you're born, this is the karma. This is the how, the who, the where, and the when. This is the manifestation. This is the paternal. This is the expression of. And the lessons that you will go through in order to become a whole being, or in order to become a fully emotionally, mentally, and spiritually evolved being. All right? So design side, 88 days prior to being born. And again, I just explained why, and that has to do with Mercury and the trimesters, okay? And so where the planets are at, 88 days prior to being born, is the why this shit happens. And it's the maternal, it's the feminine, and it deals with all of the unconscious, the innateness, okay? These are your innate gifts and abilities. And so for us, we're here, we're having the experiences externally, the day that we're born, your personality, your personal reality, all right? Where your planets are at in the real time, okay, in the real time. And this is us here, the present now moment. We also have the past And then we have the future. Now, I'm just using these little double helixes for expressions, okay? And so the past self is the not self, okay? That's your 3D self, and that's where a lot of people are at. That's where the collective is existing within, is the not self, the not authentic self, the non-true expression because of the social, cultural conditioning and the karmic imprinting that they've taken on in order to heal, to elevate the collective consciousness, because we are the senses, okay? We are the sight, the smell, the taste, the ears, and the touch. We are the expression of God. We are the senses of God here, in form or in manifestation, in the physical, having the experiences of God's thoughts. All right? And so the not self is what we're healing from, okay? And we're coming into our authentic self. But everything happens in the present, eternal, now moment. Let me see if I can, I don't want to zoom in too much because then you get a whole bunch of my face, okay? Everything happens in the eternal, present, now moment. But we fall into our past and our not self whenever we're in reactionary, okay? Or whenever we are having an experience and it triggers one of our belief systems, okay? Whether it's a smell, or we go into an area, or we touch something, or somebody touches us or hugs us, say that we don't want to be hugged, or we don't want to be touched, or maybe somebody whips us with a towel in the gym room or something. We're like, what the fuck was that for, right? It triggers a response. And so when we have these responses, and we have to sit with what that felt like. What did that do for me? What did that bring up for me, right? And there's so many. Like, you can go to yoga class, you can go to the gym, and somebody walks by and they, you know, and you're like doing your thing, and they could have even not be saying anything to you. Could have not been, that had nothing to do with you. But you're like, oh, your insecurity was flared up. You're like, oh, I wonder, what were they telling me? Like, were they looking at me? Am I doing it wrong, right? So we got to reflect in all of this, and then we take that in, and we see, like, what did that mean for me, right? That is elevating our frequency, changing our natural reaction into an appropriate response. What did it trigger within your ego? All right, so we're over here, what we're doing, and we say we're connecting to our higher self, or connecting into the God self, or our future self, or, right? Just believe it and live as if, right? And you'll align with your future self. So the future self is the Siddhic frequency. That is the future of humanity, is to embody the Siddhic state of consciousness, which is the supernatural state of consciousness, which is the fully embodied essence. This thing keeps... The fully embodied essence of what we are and who we are. The fifth dimensional frequency is the natural state of humanity. What we're experiencing in this time frame right now is, we'll go back to the eye, is the root, okay? So in this cosmic being that we call God, that we're existing within, in this cosmic being, it's descended, because again, it's masculine and feminine, but the feminine is the imagination, the feminine is the formless, the feminine is the Shekinah. Everything that is formlessness is feminine. Intuition, plasma, it's a feminine energy. It is invisible. Anything that's invisible is feminine. Things that are visible, they are masculine. They are action, they are creation, they are expression, which is a masculine energy. And these are, I'm talking energy here, okay? Because we're both. You don't need somebody else to create that. If, oh, I'm a feminine, I'm only feminine. No. You are both. You are to balance out your masculine and your feminine. That's the rise of the feminine, okay? Not just, oh my God, it needs to be only women leading. No. It is about embodying the feminine aspect and the masculine aspect and leading in equality. Now, we do lead with intuition, which is a feminine quality. So when they say the rise of the feminine, it's already happened. The sixth root race already happened. The second coming of Christ, consciousness, living the millennial reign, that's already happened. That was Tartaria. That's why it's hidden, because we're in the time of Satan, the devil himself, the dark thoughts of the cosmic being experiencing itself for a short period, which is what the prophecy of Revelation, St. John talked about, was the end time prophecy. It's like when we end time and we end form, being consciousness being localized to form, and we move back into formlessness forever. And that is the atomic, or the spiritual man, which we all, well, not everybody, but a good amount of us that have the original source code, the natural humans, not the clones, not the people that don't have a soul spark in them, but the beings that have a soul spark. And if you, on your awakening journey, you have that soul spark, okay? Doesn't matter what blood you are, positive, negative, O, B, A, B, AB, doesn't matter, okay? If you are on your journey, then you have your, God said, wake up. You have the source ability, source memory, source code, original source seed atom within you. And that is the atomic man. Now I need to go back here real quick. The atomic man is the spiritual man, and that is being twice born. Okay, and how do we get twice born? Well, we got to align all of our energy centers. And so each one of our energy centers is connected to a planet, and where that planet is at in your birth chart is the lesson that you are here to evolve, or the gene code, if you will, that you're here to play out. Play. You play it out. You're playing it out. Okay? And so this is the chart I've been working on a little bit here and there all day. So I know this is all backwards. I know that I don't have it flipped, but I will share the images. So hopefully you're just like, oh, the colors. I made it very colorful. So your personal planetary alignments, okay, where you're born at, they have a gene key or codon, or one of the 64 hexagrams from the I Ching, which is based on the elements. Even I'm going backwards. It's based on the elements, which is yin, a mixture of the yin and the yang and the elements, okay? Now, our DNA, our body is made up of every element that's on the periodic table of elements. And then we have the earth, the air, the water, the fire, and the ether down here. Okay? And how this all plays out is through the cosmic rays. All right? The energy comes up through the center, comes up through the center, and emanates out. Out of God's eye, third eye, okay? And it's played out on this, in this holographic projected reality, on this toroidal plane, if you will, into this lens of reality. But where your planets are at the day that you're born, they will be connected to a gene key. That's why I say get the gene keys, the 64 key codes of consciousness. And you are to, if you get that book, then you basically are looking at what is it that I'm evolving, which is a psychological expression, because we're living out the starries, okay, the stars, the stories of the stars, the emanations of the stars. But if you're an esoteric being, you'll know that we are living out the shadows, right? Because the stars cast their shadows. So we're experiencing these shadow realms, and for us to evolve back into the atomic man, we have to evolve our frequency that's in our 2% DNA, which is, I know that you really can't see it. There you go. It's not what I meant to do. The 2% carbon-based DNA. Now that is the codable DNA that is based on the periodic table of elements, all right? And then the plasma DNA, the 98% of our DNA, the non-codable, what they call junk DNA, is based off of the noble gases. The noble inert gases, which are gas, and they're invisible. And so they're non-codable, all right? And what we're doing is we are yoking that, we are activating, remembering, reactivating our 98% plasma, which is found in the fascia, and obviously 98% of your DNA is plasma, which is another word for ether. It is the fifth element. Okay, so again, earth, air, water, fire, and ether is that fifth element that they tried to take out because they don't want us to know. Now, ether is found everywhere. It is like the myofascia network of the plane, the realm, and within your body. Okay, so that's why whenever you go get myofascia release, it is activating deep cellular memory. And that plasma or ether is connected into your stellar memory. And in the DNA, it is also connected to the acidic state of frequency. Where's my little dude? There we go. It is connected to the acidic state of frequency down here. I have it written. All right. And so if we want to live in our acidic state, which is the supernatural state, which is where we have all of our supernatural abilities and states of being, of expression, and like just cellular remembrance, like being one with the Godhead at all times, how we see ancient sages depicted. Yeshua was one of them. Mary is the, I might bust some bubbles over here about Mary. Again, these were not beings necessarily that walked the earth. Names have meaning. So God saves. Yahushua means God saves. And Mary is the water. And Magdala, not Magdalene, but Magdala means fortress, the water fortress. She's connected to the moon and the ether. Again, the woman feminine is always connected to the invisible ether, what is not seen, and the formlessness, and how she was there with him when he came out of the cave after 3 days. This is very symbolic of the planetary movements. If you're an astrologer, then you should hopefully, if you are an astrologer, you will know this. If you are new to astrology, you may not know this, but it has everything to do with the sun and moving through the constellations. Because in the Christ teachings during the Christ era, and just like any other age, everything was personified because they used story and lore and personification to connect with it, because it's myth. Myth means image, is an image that is in a memory, held within memory within our DNA as a species, as humanity. And so just like animals hold totem meaning, numbers hold meaning, resonance, so do names. Okay, and so do stories, the lore. Everybody knows about Hercules. And then, Joseph Campbell came and talked about the hero's journey, which is Hercules. It's the hero's journey. And that's what we're all here doing at this time, to elevate humanity back into the acidic state of consciousness so that we will walk with God forever. And that's what the end of time is time is Saturn, it is Chronos, and it is for humanity as a species to go through an evolutionary process, okay, to descend into the hell realms, to the depths of God. To descend into the hell, to the depths of the cosmic being, and then we live out the fear, the hell, the damnation, the punishment, the abuse, the rejection, the shame, the guilt, the separation. We live it all out in the physical. Again, these are all feelings, right? These are all like thoughts, right? What I just said, shame, guilt, depression, anxiety, fear, these are feelings. And so we're feeling the feelings, but it's invisible, right? It's not a visible thing, but in this time period, we are experiencing all of those sensations so that we can face them in real life. And it's like facing your fears in your dream, right? You'll have the reoccurring dream until you say somebody's chasing you in your dream, and every night you're like waking up like you couldn't run fast enough to get away from them, until you're like, this time if I have that dream again, I'm going to stop and I'm going to turn around. I'm going to face them. And you do, and then you realize that person that was chasing you was just you. Right? So that's what we're doing here. We're having the experience to face all the fears and to reclaim our sovereignty, our power, our God-given power in this life, so that we can ascend the frequency. Everything is about taking our frequency from the lowest flashpoint sequencing, because we're light and we're in an experience where we're dealing with the 2% carbon DNA, which is the mineral. We're dealing with alchemizing the mineral density within our body and in our realm, so that we can elevate, yoke, be born again, twice born, to become the atomic spirit atom, the spiritual atom, which is where we essentially began in the root races, was the spiritual atom, which is what the Bible actually talks about, becoming a perfected man, which man is mana, is mind, a perfected mind, body, and spirit. So when we alchemize the dense, heavy, dense minerals, this is, you can actually look into Walter Russell's work, and this is minerals going through pressurization, okay, alchemization, and taking lead and turning it into gold, essentially. Taking Saturn and into the sun, into the illumination, all right? But minerals themselves, they change from base matter to liquid, okay, to gas and to plasma, which is like activated. It is a stimulated gas state. It's gas until it's stimulated by the sun or by the moon, hot plasma, cold plasma, and then it becomes charged. Okay, it's a charged gas. It's an illuminated gas. And so we have this ability in our body by raising our frequency, because again, we are light, we are plasma beings, and we have but when we are operating just from our 2% DNA, we're operating at a low flashpoint sequencing, which is a fission and fusion of light. Okay, and the lower that the faster that it fuses is the more light in which we emanate, okay, from our body. And that's what we're here to do, is to elevate. And that is done through the genetics. And now in our DNA, our scripts, okay, we have the personality expression, we have the soul expression, and we have the higher self expression, right? And so the personality is what we refer to as the ego, but the ego is there. Even in the soul expression, it's just a more refined personality, and that's what maturation is about. Becoming a full-grown adult is becoming a mature adult. A soul embodied expression. Your personality gets refined over the years, right? Your kids will get there. So that's a great question. The more refined you are in your personality and your expression, the more embodied soul, embodied heart, embodied that you are, your aura that you emanate will influence your children, and the way in which you communicate to your children, how you lead your life, will be how your children see. And they lead not by your words, but by your actions, by your deeds. And so the better of a person that you are a better influence for your children. And the higher frequency that you emanate, your children will also emanate that frequency. Even if you were not conscious prior to getting pregnant, it is okay. Your children, their being around you as you elevate your frequency, their frequency will elevate as well by proxy. Okay, that's quantum entanglement. And not only to mention, honey, your DNA is in their body. So whatever you do within you, it's being done within them. All right, at a very, very deep cellular level or energetic level. Don't worry, okay? Just be good to your kids. And whenever you mess up, you know, check yourself, reflect yourself, and go in and have that conversation. You know, humble yourself and be the parent that you wish that you would have had whenever you were growing up. Okay, don't put it off on the kids. Don't gaslight your kids. Well, if you were just if you wouldn't have done that, shut the fuck up. Take accountability. If you're yelling at your kids, not to say that they don't have their shit. Believe me, I have my moments too, but I always have to go back and reflect myself because it's my choice how I choose to respond to somebody else's actions, even my children. And they're there to help you grow, to become a better person. Okay? Don't worry, mama. Don't worry, mamas and dads. Don't worry. You're getting it. You're getting it. You caught him with a whole pack of sugar today. Kid wanted some sweets. It's all right. It's okay. It's shit like that. It's like, it's not the end of the world. You know, I used to have a lot of, and it really goes into control. It's such deeply embedded, like, control structures that we're like micromanaging, feeling like we need to micromanage everything because if we don't, then we'll lose control and things won't, you know, they'll blow up. And that has a lot to do with trauma and the way that we were raised. Yeah, just letting kids be kids and be messy, you know, it's hard for some people. It was hard for me. I like everything tidy. I was also in the military. My husband was in the military. So my kids were like, you know, for a little bit, not too bad. I am very creative and expressive, and I don't mind cleaning up things. But I used, in the very beginning, before I had my awakening, about a decade ago, I used to get upset and wanted everything to be exactly as it's supposed to be. And if it didn't get done immediately, I would be like irate. I would go from 0 to 100. So I totally understand, and you can change, believe me. If I can, you can. But it's a trauma response, and that's what we're here to heal. Are these responses? They're reactionary states of expression, and coming more into center and calm and understanding and observation, and just going like, okay, all right, cool. If there is something that I can do, then I'll do it. But if I don't need to, you know, some people don't even let their kids just be creative. That's the sad part, you know. And there's constructive creativity, and that's the realm that I work within, which is like, here, I'll lay everything out, I'll get it all set up, and then this is our space. But if it gets messy and all over the place, that's okay too. For me now, but back in the day, not so much. Anyways, so getting back to what we're here doing, again, which is what we just talked about, is all part of it. It's all part of it. It is live. Yes, we are here to live. Yes. However that looks for you and works for you, it's different for everybody, but it is inevitably about working through the traumas. And I can actually get the book out and let me name a few of them off. Maybe you guys have heard of the Gene Keys, maybe you haven't. It is the 64 codes of consciousness of the human spectrum. Again, you're not unique to this. Everybody has it. It just, we have it in different combinations based on where our planets are at the day that we're born, okay, in the constellations. And that makes up the different combinations. And then how the emanations come out is up through the center, through the spiral, the whole, the binary, the 1101. Can you see it now? This is the DNA. Oops. This is the DNA code. Okay, the DNA sequencing here. All right, and it has 1101010010110101101100 101010101010. Okay, and that plays into the ATCG, which is the four nucleobases for the amino acids in the DNA. Okay, and so these are the sequencing in which the carbon-based DNA is based on. Carbon-based DNA, mineral-based DNA, dense third-dimensional frequency is based on. All right. Now our 98% DNA is, again, like I said, the plasma, and that's based on the inert noble gases, which deal with the ether element. Okay, and that is what is being stimulated and refracted through the downward spiral or the phi spiral in our holographic reality. This is the light refraction. So this is the 7 colors, the 7 tones. There's 8, but it goes up an octave from do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Instead of do, it's do. It just goes up an octave. And again, that's an alchemization of the frequency. And so the plasma DNA is essentially the ether element, and you have that in you, and you have to stimulate that. But in order to stimulate it, you have to take your carbon-based DNA, carbon consciousness, your animalistic primal lower mind, your social cultural conditioning, and you have to elevate that frequency, that 2% animalistic primal nature, your lower 3 chakras, your root chakra, your sexual, your sacral center, and your solar plexus center. The solar plexus is your personal will, and your lower mind, the animalistic primal mind, your primal reptilian brain. Okay, you have to override this. Okay, your personal I with that personal, your willpower. Okay, you have to override that with the divine, and you have to clear and purify your sexual nature, your creative center, your chi, your vitality. Okay, and we call this the 7 demons we're facing. We're clearing out the demons, and this is why Mary had 7 demons cast from her. All right. Again, she was representation of the watery realm, which is your emotions, the emotional realm, and she connects us to the moon, which deals with unconscious. And so the moon is plasma, it's cold plasma, but it's reflecting in its phases. This is why women are connected to the moon. In its phases, when it shows full moon, that means that there's full energy, full dark matter. Okay, that's what's coming up from the center of the toroidal field is pure potential energy. It's dark matter, dark mother. It's also known as the Shekinah. And it's in our blood. All right, it coats our blood with it's a frequency that comes alive. The Shekinah, the dark matter, it's the dark matter templating in our DNA. And that's the foundation for all matter is dark matter. And matter, or Saturn, matter is the lowest form, okay, of plasma. And so the dark matter is the primordial energy. And this is where you hear about the primordials in the Greco-Roman lore. The primordials, and they gave birth to the Olympians, that gave birth to the Titans, and the Titans had their offspring, which make our realm. Okay? And that was the creation story and how our plane came into existence, and how long it took for nothing to come into something, or formlessness to take form, which is where you get the story of Big Bang and evolution, but not from primates and apes. But there is an evolutionary process to this. And there was many incarnations. It's known as the root races, or you can see it in the bloodlines and genealogy in the Bible is one of the ways, but also the Bhagavad Gita talks about it too. And the Egyptians spoke about it, and the Sumers also spoke about it. It was well known. It's just been muddled in translation due to the collective working from the lower mind, as it was supposed to. But anyways, back to that, the primal lower solar plexus. We have to overcome our desire nature, which is not to say to not have desire. It's just you have to tame and temper your desire, and to know that not all desire is meant to be fulfilled. Especially ones that, you know, are not really sustaining to your body, that are not beneficial for you mentally, emotionally, physically, that are not conducive with your morals and values, with good morals and good values and good standing within the eye of God. You're welcome. I'm glad that you're enjoying this. And then you also have to purify and solidify your root chakra, which is you're becoming your own father, you know, and that's Saturn. And so you have to face Saturn. You will face Saturn time and time again. It's not just about going and putting your fucking feet in the ground and rooting in and grounding in. That's part of it. But you have to become your own parent. It's father. It's father time. Structure, foundation. You have to create a good foundation, a solid foundation, a mentally, emotionally, and spiritually solid foundation within yourself before you pass through the trials, before you pass the trials of Saturn, which can last many, many lifetimes. But this life, we're in what is prophesied as the end of time, which is the end of form, when we all become one with the Godhead. And so many of us, we're being elevated into the Godhead so that we won't experience the death and decay of this realm, because we're going to go through a sublimation process, which is an ending of the human evolution and a beginning of the celestial human, or what is known as the angelic human. And that is about returning to the non-visible realms, or the ultraviolet realms, or the gaseous planes, or the plasma body, when we become semi-etheric and twice born. And we activated that plasma within our fullness as a collective. And we rise into Asgard. We rise into the Buddhic plane, the divine realm. And that's a collective experience. And that's for the beings that have held the Merkaba, the chariot of light of Gaia, this plane, this heart. This is the heart plane that we're on. This is not the image for that. That is, I think it's this one. Yeah. Oh, no. So this realm right here is the heart. And so this is where it all started with humans coming into form, or the human, going from the atomic man, which is the Lemurian man, the body, mind, expression of the divine. And this is when we were the atomic, but not fully integrated. Okay, because that's what we've gone. It's gone into full integration, to know thyself fully, and then to rise back up. But we fell, but we descended. That's a better word. As we've descended into the heart, where we lived in unity consciousness, which was the Atlantean times. Okay, we lived in unity consciousness, which group consciousness. There was telepathy. That's how we operated. And then when that experience was done, we fell from Atlantis, or we descended from Atlantis. The heart broke open. So when you go have a heartbreak and you get your heart broken, you go into grief and sadness and solitude, and you go find yourself again. Okay, and that's what was created from that, was the fifth root race after the Atlantean, which is the fourth root race. Okay, the next root race was the Aryan root races. There's 7, okay, within one. There's always 7. All right, and then the Aryan was about becoming the individuated self, finding the self after leaving the group, after leaving all home, heart, family. Like you leave, you go to college, you go in the Navy, you go in the military, you fucking go get a job, you leave home, you figure out who the fuck you are without all your family. That's what the fifth root race was about, was becoming individuated aspects all right? And the cosmic being having millions of experiences individuated. And then we had the sixth root race, which was the Tartarian, which was about the collective and creativity and vitality, creativity, expression, art. What we in this time period is known as the Renaissance, which was not, it was Tartarian, but it was Renaissance time period. That was a sixth root race. And when it was about using all of the energy on the plane, on the earth plane, still here, it's just descending in consciousness. These are just expressions of descent of consciousness, but everything is played out on the heart. Okay, everything is played here. You're still living your life with a broken heart. We're still living our lives with a broken heart. It's just our consciousness descended. And so we're feeling and experiencing the lower aspects of the self, or the personal reality aspects of the self. Anyways, to heal the heart and to go through sublimation. The heart is also known as the causal plane, and it's the soul. So the cosmic being doesn't need a soul once it's fully integrated again. The soul is the many faces of God, the many aspects of God. Okay, and so the sublimation process is when the cosmic being is like, I no longer need to have all these individualized experiences, and I'm going to merge back into the one. And so this plane goes through sublimation. This plane, or we make up what is the Merkaba, the chariot of light. And the Merkaba, our Merkaba. We have a Merkaba. We have a personal Merkaba connected to the collective Merkaba. We call this the morphogenetic field. The morphogenetic field is the Merkaba of the planet. And we are a part of that Merkaba. And so whenever we elevate our frequency, and the cosmic being, God, the Logos, is done having an individualized experience, which is what the soul is for, okay, then it rises, it says, I don't need this anymore, and the chariot of light moves back into the atomic plane, or what is in Norse mythology known as Asgard. We're in Midgard, okay, and these are the lower hell realms. All right. So in order to do this, though, we have to become sovereign within ourselves. And that doesn't have anything to do with the monetary system, because the monetary system is a system that was created after the fall of Tartaria. Well, even during the fall of towards the end of Tartaria, it existed. And Tartaria was worldwide. It wasn't just one race and ethnicity. It was all the world. And this is the Christ reign. Okay, before that was the Krishnas. Okay, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then it came into the Christ teachings, the Christ conscious reign. All right, we already had that. Okay, and the Mayans, the Quetzalcoatl, that's their version of Christ consciousness, form in physical form, okay, as an expression, okay. Anyways, and the natives, like what was left. I mean, I have so many videos that I don't even have posted anymore, but I have all of this on my Instagram. If you guys want to go and listen to more extended aspects of these conversations. Oh gosh, you gotta go away. Oh, there we go. Where do I get my information? Integration. Reading a lot of ancient books, but just many lifetimes, and remembrance, intuition, knowing. That's what cognizance is just knowing. And then once you've hemi-synced your brain and you've healed your DNA, you just know, because you're connected to the mind of God, and you just know. Like, it's just knowing. That's how all of the information came in, the ancients. Like, they connected to God, and they would write things down. Like, because we're the conduits, we're the expression, we're the eyes, the ears, the senses, all of that, we're the expression of God. So claircognizance is just knowing. And so once you've, like I said, hemi-sync the brain, and you become like a sync thinker, again, you're a creative thinking, your cognizance will come on, and you'll just know it's clarity. And so I'm a conduit, a divine conduit, or an embodied angelic being here. That's what happens when you heal. You become whole, and like your celestial consciousness is restored. You have it already. It's already in you. You just got to turn it on, and that takes working through your genetic scripts, and taking your scripts from the low vibrational shadow state and into the Siddhic state of consciousness, where the siddhis unfold. Back to that. So let's talk about the 64 states of the human consciousness, the spectrum of human consciousness. And so I can start with the siddhis, and there's 64 of them. Hey, welcome. Thank you for joining. How do you sync everything? Well, that's how my brain operates. I have a neurospicy mind, and I synthesize. That's my codes, actually, are to synthesize. Again, we're just living off of our codes. We're living off the sine wave. We're living off the codes. And depending on your planets and their positioning the day that you're born, you know, if you have conjunctions, if you have stelliums, if you have, you know, certain alignments, then, and certain keys on a keyboard, if you're making certain vibrational expressions, and then you get out of your shadow, which is the not self, and you come into your God self, then you'll express those higher Siddhic states of consciousness. Everybody can do it. Anybody can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. I didn't start out like this. I grew up like trash. Like my childhood, this is probably not the call for this. I'm just trying to explain some stuff. But my childhood was riddled with abuse. My mother was very abusive, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Like, and I mean very abusive. I put my biological father in prison after I went in the Navy when I was 21. Now, I wish I would have done it when I was younger, but I didn't have the balls to. But me and 18 other women and children put my biological father in prison because he's a child apist, pedophile to the max. Not only that, it was like bestiality stuff. It was bad growing up. It wasn't good. Okay? I went through a lot of abuse. And if I can heal from it, anybody, and get to this level of activation, remembrance, connection, God self, then you can too. Okay? Thank you. Appreciate it. But yeah, so you just have to, it's perseverance. You got to call in grace. But anyways, based on your codes, you will activate those Siddhic states of consciousness. If not the ones that you're born with, all of them. It just depends. And we're here to activate all of them within the collective. And that's why we see all of the shows with the Marvel and the superheroes and the anime videos with, being able to master all of the elements. The last Avatar, the Airbender, the last Avatar. That's also a sign that's in our collective to let us know that we're dealing with the end times when Kaliki, the last Avatar, the last expression of Vishnu, comes to end all of, the human experience to elevate us into the celestial or angelic human experience. Well, you don't have to believe me. So, and if you would like, to stay, you can stay. So I'm going to read about the 64 codes of consciousness, okay? And the first one, this first siddhi, and I'll go through them. First siddhi is beauty. The second siddhi is unity. And this is the Siddhic states, okay? And there's a description on them. Now, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but beauty, it talks about life and creation. And then unity is coming into unity. So these are philosophical expressions. They're not just blatantly what the word means, okay? He has his own depth into it. The third city is innocence, which is like childlike innocence. The fourth city is forgiveness, which means to have understanding and have a forgiving heart. And so much more deep than that. The fifth city is timelessness. The sixth city is peace. The seventh is virtue. The eighth is exquisiteness. The ninth is invincibility. 10th is being, just to be. The 11th is light, which deals more with the light that is within us and the light that is unbridled, the dark matter, the pure potential, the light from other worlds that comes in from other realms, from other worlds, which the stars are our future selves, okay, in the higher planes, in the celestial heavens, which already exist, which we are reconnecting to after descending down into the lower planes and rising back up into our future self, the celestial selves. And, wow, sorry, I'm missing some of these comments. Okay, and then the 12th is purity, 13th is, and purity is pure of heart. Not chastity, but pure of heart, to have a pure heart. All right, the 13th is empathy, which is the divine heart, the feeling all, knowing, seeing yourself through another, not even seeing, it's being within another, having a visceral experience that the other one is having. That would be, go back to the Atlantean. So all the Siddhic states really connect us back to the Atlantean when we lived within the Siddhic state of consciousness. And that's what we're here to embody once again, is the Siddhic state of consciousness, to rise from the depths of the hell and go back into this frame. Okay, and again, this is an attunement. And because we're tuning forks, we are frequency, and we're tuning our energy back into the plasma gaseous states, okay, the invisible realms, activating that fascia network within us, okay, so that we're highly charged beings. No, I'm not. I'm RH positive. Again. I can go on a total another topic about that, but I don't want to right now. All right, so the 14th is bounteousness, and 15th is fluorescence, 16th is mastery, 17th is omniscience, the all-seeing eye, 18 is perfection, which is perfect mind, perfect body, okay, perfect health, mental, emotional, and physical health. 19th is sacrifice, and that plays into the final sacrifice, the sixth initiation, where you sacrifice your ego to embody, to take in the Christ, the second aspect of the Holy Trinity. So you sacrifice your lower self, your not self, your old self, your persona, to become your God self, the divine. 20 is presence, which the presence, divine presence, it is Shekinah. It is the mother, the primordial mother, Gene Key 20. 21 is valor. 22 is grace. Now this is the most potent key in the entire book, is Gene Key 22. This Siddhic state of frequency, anybody can call in. We all call in grace at all times. And this is to, essentially, grace is a feminine spirit, and there are leagues of grace. So each one of the archangels, or the Elohim, or the builder races, which are the 7 stars of Ursa Major that make up the Big Dipper or Mama Bear, okay? Each one of those stars is the 7 cosmic rays, the builder rays. And these are the expressions of grace. So grace is that feminine essence. It is the primordial mother as well. All the 64 cities are an expression of grace, just in different mirrors, okay? But yeah. each one of the 7 cosmic rays is, you know, they are the 7 seals, 7 sacred seals, and St. John's sacred seals that he wrote about. And those deal with releasing these seals, is about releasing one of the rays into the collective body to assist humanity in its evolution. And we can call on these 7 rays or the 7 archangels, however you want to communicate with them, all right, to help assist us in our journey. And now grace isn't necessarily tenderness or compassion. Grace is a ferocious energy that comes in to break you of your ego, and whatever it takes to break you of your ego. What comes in to butter you up and make you feel better afterwards is compassion and tenderness. So, but grace, and grace can too, but grace is very fiery because it doesn't give a shit. God doesn't give a shit about your personality and your attachments. Okay? And so if you have a lot of attachment to your personal reality, people, things, materialism, and you call in grace, well, you better be ready to let go of that shit, because it is going to create tower moments so that you learn the art of surrender. Yeah. Okay, so, but Jinky 22 is a, yeah, it is a beautiful energy to call in as well. When you need help and you can't see, you call in grace. All right. 23 is quintessence, the quintessence. It is the juice, the nectar of life, the quintessence, you know. Okay, and then silence is 24. I'm not going to name what, so I'll stop with the numbers because I'm getting over it. But anyways, the next is universal love. Then you have invisibility. Universal love and invisibility. The art of invisibility is like this sacred trickster. It is to be God among a room full of fools. So I always think of the example here is like in the movie Bruce Almighty, when God was the janitor, you know, and he was also the guy holding the sign, the homeless man holding the sign, right? God hidden, the hidden, seeing God where you don't expect to see God, okay? Seeing God in who you don't expect to see it. And so it's God in hiding, because God sees everything, right? And so even the invisible, people that are invisible, there's God in that too. So, and then the 27 is, selflessness. And this is a sacred key, and right now we have Uranus in this key. So the selflessness is to be of service and for God, to humanity, for God. And this is one of the keys of healing, miraculous healing. So right now we're having miraculous healing in the collective. There is awakenings, more like we have Uranus in the 27. So it's like it is awakening and shaking, and it's breakthrough, sudden epiphanies, clarity. Again, Uranus represents cosmic consciousness, the antenna in the sky. It deals with our spirit bodies, our outer bodies, whereas the 7 inner planets deal with our chakras. Uranus deals with the spirit bodies, and again, everything comes from spirit and then descends into the physical or into the inner planes. And so Uranus deals with, again, healing or connecting us to the cosmic consciousness with the celestial consciousness. And so there is great healing being had upon the plane right now within humanity, within us, you know, because this is all happening within us. It's in the mind, and we are the senses. So everything's already happening. We're just sensing it. And depending on the frequency that you are attuned to is what it is that you're going to be projecting into your reality. And we want to project a reality that's harmonious and peaceful and alignment to our 5th dimensional state of perceptual reality, right? So there is great healing that's available to those that are in resonant frequency. Think of tuning forks, right? If they're not at a certain frequency match, then they won't resonate and they'll be in dissonance. And so just even being in this, experience and sitting and listening to, this information, you're elevating. You're being on your journey, you're elevating. You're being self-aware, finding joy and finding alignment and changing the ways in which you used to be, right? You're elevating. And so that's what's happening on the planet right now. We just had Sun conjunct Uranus in the 27. So when the 27 is also Alcyon, which is the spiritual sun. It deals with the Pleiades, part of the Trinity. Hey, where'd it go? It's this one. Which is known as the cosmic, this is known as the cosmic fire triangle, okay? Which is Ursa Major, Pleiades, and Sirius. So the spiritual sun is Pleiades, which holds the ray of love and wisdom, the second ray, which is ruled by Jupiter and the sun, and we just had the sun there. So in the spiritual sun, the spirit aspects, the higher consciousness. And so there is a massive spiritual awakening, like round 50, but like another spiritual awakening in the collective right now. And there's a rise in revolutionary leaders, revolutionary leadership. Not, it's heart leadership, quality, not about showboat, not false light. So we see a lot of false light falling, those that have ill intent or are about materialistic gains and fame and the lower expression, the ego. And we see a rise in leadership of those that are based in purity and heart-based leadership. Those that truly are doing the work of God, for God, and who have done the inner work, okay, who took that time. All right, so the next one is immortality. Okay, now we all have the immortality code in us as well. And this is what the 28 deals with. It deals with activation of immortality, which is in us, because we are eternal beings. And that deals again with like the spirit man. So the next one is devotion, which is where the south node is in Jinki 29, the city of devotion. And the north node is in the 30, which is rapture, the city of rapture, which is the next key. Rapture. We're in the rapture right now. We are rapturing our hearts through devotion to God. We are really truly living through the end times right now. Like really on that precipice of shifting into the higher octaves. I'm not kidding. Like the body of beings that have chose to be the embodiment of the soul will be raptured in their heart. Their heart will be opened. They will be elevated to a higher vibrational frequency of expression and in their personal reality. And when it's time, we will shift into a whole new realm. That is what divine justice is. All right. 31 is humility, and veneration is 32. 33 is revelation. 34 is majesty, boundlessness, compassion, tenderness, honor, liberation, emanation, celebration, epiphany, synarchy, communion, ecstasy, transfiguration, wisdom, rebirth, which is not to stay on the wheel, it's completely exiting the wheel, but rebirth, to be reborn completely new, which is what the seventh root race is to be the angelic human, not the old species that we used to be. And that's, again, part of the rapture, part of divine justice and elevating out of the heart, subliminating it and moving into the Buddhic or Asgard, the Buddhic plane, the divine realm to Asgard. All right, where did I say that? Rebirth, 49. harmony, awakening, stillness, superabundance, ascension, freedom, intoxication, clarity, bliss, transparency, justice, and I have that shit circled, justice, synarchy, impeccability, truth, and illumination. So those are the 64 cities within the Gene Keys, and I highly suggest you get that book. It is on my link tree. Go to my bio. It's right there. Highlight it and get on it. And it's on a carousel on my link tree, and you can see all the books. You can get that if you'd like. So, well, I hope that you guys enjoyed tonight's little presentation. It's almost 10 o'clock. I enjoyed sitting here with you and sharing some of the insights. I will make videos that go into more detail that are not, this is a live. So I really hope that you enjoyed tonight more. And I appreciate all of the new family that's following and all of the love tonight that you showed. And yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for all the work that you've done, and you're welcome, and that you've continued to do and show up. Perseverance is key, you know, calling in grace, a lot of grace and perseverance to get here. So I appreciate you. I see you. You are not alone. I promise you're not alone. And yeah, I do have a YouTube channel. Thank you. It is Quirky Cosmo. Everything is Quirky Cosmo, except for this page is Quirky Cosmo 2.0 because they banned my last one. But anyways, yes, everything is Quirky Cosmo. So just go to YouTube, type in Quirky Cosmo, Quirky Cosmo, and I will pop up. Also, Instagram has like all of my videos. So if you were like wanting to, they don't have these. Like I don't have anything on these. These are brand new drawings and stuff like that. But if you wanted to go there and check out old videos where I talk about ascension, the rites of passage, the initiations, okay, because there's the 9 initiations to attaining the body of glory, which is rainbow body, and activation, which is very, very possible. Again, it's healing the 2% carbon-based DNA, all right, and activating your ethereal DNA, your 98% plasma DNA, okay, by healing the memory that's lodged in your muscle and your fascia and the trauma in the bones from your ancestors. My tooth hurt. Oh, it's connected to your ancestors. Oh, your teeth are what? Bone. Okay, so healing all of the trauma from your ancestors, okay, walking their walk, and choosing to change the way in which you show up, which can be done. It's not impossible. It does not ask for perfection, okay? With an acidic state of perfection, it just means that you will be healed. You will have a healed mind, because the majority of the collective is in a mass psychosis, all right? And you're not crazy. Again, we live in a world where everybody's projecting their inability to take accountability onto you. And it's for us to just see them for who they are and where they are, and just know that you were once that too, but you don't have to engage with it. You don't have to respond to it. And somebody else's perceptions of you sure as shit do not define you. That is their own projection. So it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work, and you do get exhausted. Give your time, give your body time and space. Just give your mind space. Just give yourself space. Lots of self-care. Disconnect. You know, you don't have to constantly fucking wake up and hustle your spiritual journey. What the fuck soever. Enjoy your life. Do your thing. Just make sure that what you're doing isn't hurting you, okay? Do what's right. Do what you know to be right. We all have our vices. We all have things. You don't have to be fucking perfect. It is not about that, all right? It's about getting your mind right and getting out of the insatiable amount of brainwashing, indoctrination, and subliminal programming that you received from childhood, and walking upon this plane in the time of Satan, of materialism, of minimizing spirit and maximizing the devil. All right? It's also not about, you know, hating the masculine.
if you're a woman, you got to heal those wounds, okay? And all the pain and the betrayal that you went through. We've all, like, I know it's not necessarily easy to let go of resentment and from the betrayal. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you have to be with them either. Forgiveness is for you, and you will eventually forgive them because they're fucking idiots and they do dumb shit, and that's just who the fuck they are. And the dumb people do dumb shit, all right? People that have wounds and are hurt, they do dumb shit. That doesn't make you a bad person, even though you got hurt in the process of it, but you grew, and it was for a reason. And you can be grateful for that. You know, on a soul level, you can be grateful for that. No matter how tumultuous the trauma was. Okay? So forgiveness is for you. And there's no reason to hold on to the resentment and the anger and the anguish and that pain anyways, because it's just hurting you. I know it's easier said than done, especially when you're fucking in it, but that's where you got to learn how to control your emotions and don't allow them to control you. You have to rise above them, which you do that through the mind, through reprogramming your mind, by telling yourself things that are going to, that help you make sense of it, understand it. What's the fucking lesson in it? When you can get the lesson in it and you can focus on what you learned from it, not how you felt, but what you learned from it. Your feelings are valid. They're valid. They're valid. But don't hang on to them, because it's when your emotion or energy in motion is burning back towards you. Think of all the trillions of atoms that you're just burning and wasting. You're burning your energy. You're wasting that. That's why they say go lift weights, go for runs, go take that energy, that energy, emotion, and use it to benefit you. Use it as fuel to create, write, you know, draw, do something that inspires you to feel better about yourself, about the situations. Don't let it sit and fester and turn into dis-ease, okay? Fuck those motherfuckers anyways, right? They're just the shit for your soil, baby, so that you grow stronger, taller, and brighter, period. The people that talk shit, the people that doubt you, the people that betrayed you, all of that was for you. I know that is hard to take in, because believe me, I know. I know. But it's just fuel. All right? Period. That's right. Yes. Yes, I know, that's fucking human, man. It's fucking human. Of course we were like fucking want vengeance, but vengeance is not ours. That's God's. Motherfucker better get their karma. Oh, they will, because whatever you put out, karma, action, whatever the fuck you do, you will attract it back. 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 years, or 5 lifetimes from now. Your bitch ass is gonna get it back. And that goes for you too. That goes for you too, okay? You get them thoughts. Just be like, I take it back. I don't mean it. I know I'm angry. I don't mean it. I know we all have those thoughts. But just be like, look, go away. Go away, Satan. Not today. Not today, you know? Be like, bitch, put those daggers down. Don't do anything stupid, because again, whatever you do, it's going to come back at you. And then you'll reap what you sow, and you will. Like, that's part of clearing your personal karma. You have ancestral karma, and then you have the karma that yo ass created in this life, right? And if you're an original crash out like myself, you're gonna go through some fucking hoops. You're gonna have to purify your shit, and you'll have it coming back at you. You'll have it come back at you. You cut off somebody in a car, fuck you, bitch. You're gonna get somebody else, cuts you off. And until you learn not to respond to that shit, and you're just like, all right, they're in a hurry, they got some place to be. Until you learn to recognize your reality, you'll be in a whole whirlwind of shit. That's called grace. She's doing you a favor. She's saying, bitch, wake the fuck up. Yes, thank you. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying this. Yeah, I know. It's 10 o'clock though. I'm gonna be up till fucking midnight. All this energy, no. But for real, I guess it's Saturday. It's not like I'm going to a bar. Hey, Paige. Hey, sis. Good to see you on here. Yeah, so I hope that you guys enjoyed the little breakdown of everything. I don't think it was little, it was a lot. It was a lot. Let me. There we go. But be in your present eternal now. Your present eternal now. Align your chakras, align your energy centers, look at where your planets are at, look at your karmas, look at your shadows, your gifts, and your cities. You know, embrace your shadows, live in your gift, and reach for the city, reach for the highest heights, reach for your God self, and eventually you will attain this. Eventually it will awaken in your body. I'm fucking living proof of this. It will awaken in your body. Okay, you will attain the Godhood, the clarity, the connection, the direct cognition, all right, without interference frequencies in your DNA. Without interference, okay, because that's what veneration does. The city, Gene Key 32, it's veneration. It clears you of all of your ancestral karmas and sanskaras, and then you're no longer dropped back into the shadow states. You are clear. You will never be in third dimensional frequency. That's when people are like, I've been reborn, I'm living in my highest timeline. You will never drop. You will never drop back into the shadow states once you've been venerated, once you've healed. Okay, you will remain in that gift with an open heart as long as you continue to live with an open heart and you don't create karmas, negative karmas, because karma is just action. As long as you're not creating negativity in your life, doesn't mean that you can't mess up and do things, whatever. You're going to live, but you're not intentionally being vindictive, malice, and hurtful to others. You're living with an open heart, which will come innately in you because your chemicals in your body will be balanced and you won't be imbalanced hormonally, okay? And you'll be secreting the higher tocins, oxytocins, serotonins, you know, happy, the dopamines. You'll be balanced and blissful. That's the body of bliss. That's your body creating the bliss chemicals, and you'll be thriving in this so long as you're not polluting yourself with toxic behavior, toxic people, toxic food, okay? Toxic company. All right, don't go up into a, you get what I'm saying. Like inevitably, once you activate the acidic frequency and your auric field like is emanating these higher frequencies, the people in which you surround you can be around anybody and they're not going to impact you. They're not going to throw you off. It's just not going to happen. For one, because you've created your own Saturn. You're emotionally, mentally solid and spiritually solid within yourself, right? And you're acting from your God self, your higher self. And inevitably, eventually, the divine, this is divine embodiment. When the full acidic frequency awakens in you, then you step into and you become an expression of the divine. Fully. So, and your aura will just repel anything that isn't of the light, you know, and what isn't of the light will shift in others. Your light will shift within them. Maybe not right there on the spot, but little do they know that they just got quantum entangled with a higher vibrational being, and it shifts them, and that creates the ripple. The quantum entanglement creates the ripple effect in the collective. So yeah, all right. Well, I look forward to you're hilarious. I just read that comment. Yeah, the butterfly effect. I like that. Yeah. So I look forward to more lives, and I just gave you guys a glimpse of you know, some of the things that I like to talk about, and we'll dive deeper, and you know, look forward to, you know, getting to know more of you guys in the comments. And I hope you guys really enjoyed tonight's live, and I will make more specific videos and dive deeper into these, and obviously help and show up in more lives, just focused. Like tonight I had more of an intention of what I wanted to present, But I will show up in lives just to answer questions and be more present in the questions that are coming through. But it's, like I said, it's 10. I give it an additional 10 minutes almost. So thank you all for being here and hanging out with me, and we will do this again. Go Navy, yes. Yeah, I was an aviation boatswain's mate. What were you? What were you, Navy dude? Yeah, I was an aviation boatswain's mate. So I worked in the hangar bay on one of my ships. Well, I trained on the flight deck, but I ended up getting put into the fucking hangar, but which is cool. I like the hangar on my first ship, and then my second ship, I was on the flight deck. So I did them both. Here, your yellow shirt. Right on, right on, right on. I chalked and chained. I was fucking blue shirt. I was a blue shirt. I was more obsessed with playing blackjack and spades at night and having, you know, a good time. Yeah. I mean, you got to start as a blue. You don't just get to be a fucking yellow shirt. But yeah, I never made it into a yellow shirt. Practice, though. You were a boat captain. I worked with the aviation. No, you know, we just chalked and chained the motherfucking planes down, and I was a glorified flight deck firefighters. It was a lot of work, though. It was fucking exhausting, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, work hard, play harder. That's the motto. We loved your. Oh yeah, the third eye, the teaching. Yes, we are in the third eye of God. We are in the image, the imagination, the image of the imagination of God's creation. Yes, by the creator gods, the Elohim, which are the 7 cosmic rays or the 7 archangels. Watch out for these the people channeling the dumb shit, the demons. Demons are everywhere, man. We're living in the time of demons. No, I have not always been awake. No. I had too tumultuous of a life. I didn't have my awakening until I had just turned 33. Yeah. My mother had been unalived. That's the word we say here. Unalived at 51. And that created a catalyst event in my life. So, yeah. And then I had an awakening 3 months later. A conscious awakening. And then all of these gifts started coming awake within me, like I had a instantaneous Kundalini awakening. I lived in California, and I had been suppressing a lot because my mom's unaliving, and the chaos that went with that within my step family, and the auspicious stuff, the sus shit that happened. And so I was suppressing, and I had smoked a lot of weed and ate, and I think about 500 milligram gummy. And I was doing a meditation where I was journeying back to the womb. And in that journey back to the womb, really high, I had a spontaneous Kundalini awakening. Yeah. And then I went to a deep state of psychosis. But nonetheless, all of my gifts activated at that time. So, and I have all of the clairs. Actually, one of my clairs even activated before I had that, but I didn't know that until after. In hindsight, I know. Like when my mom was unalived, I walked into the room in which she was unalived in, and I got a vision upon walking in the room, which is the sentience. Again, you can read the energy of a room, of entities and everything, or you get a memory. I got a vision when I walked into the room, and I saw what had happened. So, but I didn't know I didn't know that at the time that what it was. I just like saw it, and I was like, what in the fuck? And then I did, I called the bitch. And I'm an original crash out, and I come from a very small town, and I got really fucking ghetto. Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, all my gifts came on, to include I had 7 different languages that were coming out of me. And again, 10 years ago, there was no such thing as light language, which I don't call it light language. I call it sound alchemy. But yeah, I have a gift, and I used that gift for a long time, healing people through sound and using a plasma machine where you can. It's a biofield viewer, but it views your plasma body, and I would have people come to my house for healings, and I would do sound alchemy on them, and you can watch in the real time as the disease or dis-ease and the C words and ailments, which would show up as color arrays in the body in certain spots of the body, and you would watch it turn to white and just dissipate. So I have the gift of the 27, which is instantaneous healing for people. But I don't use that very often anymore. I had to go on a deep inner healing after that. I took on a lot of people's energy and I didn't know it. Because I didn't know my ass from the hole in the ground when I had my awakening. I just had these gifts. And I just wanted to help everybody, but I needed to help myself because I ended up drowning and just taking on the weight of everybody else's ailments. So, not no more. I don't work that way no more. Yeah, you're a sponge. So, and then my partner, which wasn't a business, she was my partner, my friend that I was doing this with, she wanted to start charging people, and that just wasn't in alignment with me. So that created friction and betrayal and a lot of shit. So I just completely stepped away from doing that. I haven't done those since 2020. Yeah. You speak of where I am at now. What's the advice? Yeah, just focus on you. Stop focusing on trying to heal other people. You know, you can teach as you go. You can do your thing as you go, but like this mass collective rise in energy healers, and it's a lot of projection. You're going to call in people and you're going to give them the messages that you yourself need. It's not until you're healed and that you can actually pour from a full cup. And you know, people aren't healed when they have their awakening. The awakening's for you. The awakening's for you to heal. And most people want to jump right in and create a business, or they want to create a space to use their gifts. And you can do that. Do what you need to do. It's your fucking journey, but it'll end up biting you in the ass. Especially if you haven't healed like your wounds that you don't know that are there. That's why I say to get the damn gene keys, so that you know what wounds you're dealing with specifically that are encoded to you, so that you know you can reflect truly in the people in which you're interacting with, not from a love, light, and clueless state, and so you're not wavered and manipulated by every Tom, Dick, and fucking Harry that walks your way, but so that you're fully integrated and aware of the gifts that are actually showing up in front of you, instead of getting all poppied in like spiritual ego like a lot of people do. A lot. And I was there too. And I mean, I only way that I could know is to live it. But I'm a person that's very forward, very honest. I have nothing to hide. You're gonna sleep over his? Okay. Hey, pack your toothbrush and everything, okay? And pajamas. Don't sleep in that. Okay, cool. And a pillow.
I have pillows there.
You got pillows?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys have a good night then. All right, you all. I'm going to give my boy a hug goodnight before he heads over. So thank you all for joining. And we'll have plenty more lives to talk later. All right? You have a blessed and beautiful, beautiful night. And thank you so much for everything you do, you continue to do, and are. All right? Again, you don't have to be perfect. You just be you, and that's enough. Have a blessed night.
Love you.